this stream. It's your boy Ghost Rider here, man. It's Legal Wars Live, man. This is a special edition of News Hour with Ghost Rider. We're going to be talking about Mamdani's. You guys, have y'all heard of him yet? He was a candidate and the mayor for New York City. You say, besides New York City being the largest city in America, you know what I'm saying? Used to be the largest in the world, but you know what I'm saying? Just a major city in America, probably the most important, I would say, or the most known mayor of the city. Besides that, you ask, why is it important about Mamdani defeating Andrew Cuomo, who has a name recognition? He used to be the governor of New York, and he outspent this 33-year-old progressive man 4-1, and the progressive beat him. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, this is a perfect example of young versus old in the Democratic Party. It's something that needs to be addressed. AOC, man, it's her time. This your world, AOC. You know what I'm saying? If you win that election, or shall I say, if Mamdani wins that election in New York City, you see what I'm saying? As a progressive that's leading America's largest city, I would say, AOC, you got a great case to make. We talking about that today, guys. So I want to start off by saying good morning, you guys. As y'all come in, y'all please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, guys. Y'all give me just a couple of minutes, if you don't mind, just a couple of seconds, and I'm gonna go get situated, and I'm gonna come back, and we ranked up with the info and the news, guys. So good morning, guys. I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video. If you guys have not subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe. It's Jen Helps. Good morning. You guys jump down in the comments, say hello, say good morning, and we'll get started with the content. So guys, we will go over 2 or 3 news articles this morning. But before we start, I have 2 trains of thought on AOC and her influence. The young lady is the most popular, or among the most popular Democrats in America, behind the Obamas and the Clintons. Where am I wrong about that? And she has been for a while, a long time. For those of us who support her progressive policies are the issues. To some Americans, they might be scary. But as I say all the time, we can have a debate on the issues. Man, listen, to me, what's more scarier than progressive issues is a corrupt politician. You get that? So we can have a healthy debate on the issues. You know what I'm saying? But what we do know is that AOC is not corrupt. She's grassroots, super popular, and the people love her because she fights passionately for the people. My second train of thought on AOC is that before we get on her endorsement of the 33-year-old progressive Mandani, who just shook the entire Democratic Party, being outspent 4-1 by former New York Governor Cuomo in the NYC Democratic mayoral race primary. He pulled off the upset. And I kind of want to talk about how she was pulling 80,000 people in Los Angeles as well earlier this spring, you know what I'm saying, doing rallies with Bernie Sanders. So before you old head Democrats that are much too old to be in politics, before you guys get to talking, just ask yourselves, and I want you to ask yourself this. Who in the Democratic Party besides Barack or Michelle Obama can pull 80,000 people at any rally? Think about it. Chuck Schumer. If you tried to do a rally in LA, my God, 50 people would show up. Let's talk about that. Because this is what this is all about. Leadership in the Democratic Party. You have a former governor, well-known, very popular, the establishment candidate in the Democratic Party. He got 4 times the money of this progressive, someone like AOC. You see what I'm saying? Mamdani, 33 years old, 4 times the money. We see what the people feel. And that's what it's all about, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, guys, Chuck Schumer, why wouldn't AOC take your position? She's more popular. Her voice is bigger. Her voice is stronger. You way too old. Let's just be real, man. If you love your party, you're going to step out the way. Way too old. And then you don't have the influence she had. Like I said, if Chuck Schumer do a rally in Los Angeles, man, 50 people gonna show up. I'm not even sure if Governor Newsom can pull 80,000 people in Los Angeles. Guys, so let's jump into the news. LA Magazine, April 14, 2025. It's not Bernie, it's you, said Senator Bernie Sanders, an independent serving Vermont, as he met with the chant of Bernie, Bernie, when he took the stage in downtown Los Angeles in April. We're going to make a revolution with joy. We're going to sing and dance our way to victory against hatred and divisiveness, he added, insulting that the very presence of the crowd was making President Trump very nervous. The Los Angeles stop is part of Sanders' national fighting oligarchy, Where We Go From Here tour, a campaign he described as a grassroots pushback against the Trump administration and its billionaire allies, among them Sanders and AOC, Ocasio-Cortez, named tech mogul Elon Musk, whom they criticized for wielding outsized political influence, as Trump's top advisor and the head of the Department of Governmental Efficiency. What I want to say about this, guys, is a lot of us have heard about the fighting oligarch tour. You know what I'm saying? What AOC and Senator Sanders went on this spring. So AOC, a Democrat from New York, echoed Senator Sanders' warnings while focusing on immigration. She cited 2 recent incidents where federal agents allegedly attempted to access Los Angeles Unified School District campuses. It was the teachers and principals who stood strong and said no to protect their kids, she said, because it will never be just institutions and officials alone that uphold our democracy. It will always be the people, the masses, who refuse to comply with authoritarian regimes. Now, I always like to say this, guys, look, like we could play politics in this situation, and that's not what I'm going to do, not what I'm attempting to do. That's not even my style. This has nothing to do with politics whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have Democrats, you're going to have Republicans. I mean, we could support kind of who we want to. We're going to support whichever candidate that aligns with our beliefs. So it's not about the politics. You see what I'm saying? Let me see how I'm going to say this. What is so attractive to what AOC and progressives speak is them fighting for the people. Listen to what she said. will never be just institutions and officials alone that uphold our democracy. It will always be the people. Guys, that's what it's all about. It's about fighting for the people. And we're going to get on that in just a second, but we know AOC fights for the people. The Los Angeles City Councilwoman, Anas Hernandez, also spoke, calling the moment dangerous and warning that our country is descending into a fascist oligarchy right before our eyes. Her criticisms went beyond the current administration. If you think Trump and Elon just snapped their fingers and started destroying our democracy, I need you to wake up. They didn't break the system. They're operating it exactly as it was designed. So the event was peppered with performances from musical icons and indie favorites alike. Joan Baez, Neil Young shared the stage with rising stars like Maggie Rogers, Jeff Rosenstock, Indigo De Souza, and the Red Pears. Ray's Gospel Choir lifted the ruckus crowd earlier in the day. Members of Congress, including Representatives Jimmy Gomez from Los Angeles, Ro Khanna from San Francisco. The LA audience was in Sanders' only moment in the California sun this weekend. In a surprise cameo at Coachella, the senator made an impassioned speech where he applauded Claro for her activism, yada, yada, yada. Guys, I just thought that was just, we had to discuss that because this story comes just from April. And a lot of us know about this story, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say about AOC, my argument, bro, is that her and Bernie Sanders, she's pulling 80,000 plus crowds, rallies, 80,000 plus people. So you know she could energize the base. I mean, regardless, look, this is my thinking. If you have her in the Democratic Party, regardless of your feelings, your thoughts about her politics, I'm saying if you got her a part of your party, why do you have her a part of your party and she's probably your biggest weapon and you keep sidelining it? You see what I'm saying? Because I'm saying this woman can serve the people. Guys, before we get into our second story, I think back when President Obama was elected and Fox News was telling us how liberal he was. So all the conservatives got mad and started a movement called the Tea Party. You guys remember the Tea Party? Well, the Tea Party fizzled, but President Obama, he won again. He was reelected. And then here comes MAGA. You ask Ghost, what's your point? If you swing America too far right, it's like the voters, they're going to correct the swing. And the next election, the other party has the chance to move the country much further left than they've ever been before. I think people will say that Barack Obama, right, wrong, or indifferent, his political views were very liberal, more liberal than any other president before that. You see what I'm saying? Am I right or wrong, y'all? That came right after Barack Obama or President Obama. You had President Trump with the Tea Party and then MAGA. And they swung way far to the right. I'm talking about further right than we've ever been. This is what I'm saying. It's like until we get a centrist candidate, every 4 to 8 years, America will swing far left and far right. And if my perception is correct, with President Trump, America has swung far to the right. Listen, my whole argument is a lot of times with Republicans or conservatives, because if you listen to my political views, you'll understand that I'm conservative at heart. A lot of times, man, like my argument is to help another conservative. I'm saying if you don't want to govern from the center, if you don't want to deal with any Democrats, I'm saying the American voters are watching. They're watching. Because the voters in their mind, maybe the far right people or the far left people, I'm saying the plurality of the American voters are going to vote in the middle. whether they're tied to a party or not. You know what I'm saying? Just like for VP Harris, all those Republicans vote, and then just like all them Democrats that's what I'm saying. The majority of America's gonna swing. That's my part, that's my argument. So I'm saying if you go out and you start making moves like you wanna like take aggressive moves in the Middle East or aggressive moves on national security, I'm saying the American voters, they're not going to do a live stream like Ghost, and they ain't going to complain about that. They might call AOC or one of their representatives, or they might not. But what they'll do is they're going to go to the voting booth the next election. That's what they're going to do. And so if President Trump goes so hard on the right conservative side, attacking, you know what I'm saying, Harvard and all these liberal institutions, basically what that does is that brings the liberals from the dead. They were almost dead. They done risen from the dead. And they back. And they swinging. And they fighting. And from what I could see is that the Republicans' best chance or best hope is the Democratic Party. You say this man must have been going crazy. Nah, I'll say the Democratic Party is the Republicans' best hope, and it's the Republicans' best chance. Because if the Democrats don't rein themselves in, let's see what's going to happen. So this article is from Newsweek. It was written on June 25th. Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez congratulated self-proclaimed Democratic socialist. This man is a self-proclaimed socialist. And New York State lawmaker, Zohran Mamdani on Tuesday, as Mamdani was on track to wallop former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo in New York's Democratic mayoral primary. Yeah, he did wallop him. It's over. He beat him. Okay. Now, the context. So Mandani holds a strong foothold with younger and more progressive Democratic voters who are hungry for the change within the party and believe it should put up a stronger fight against President Donald Trump's agenda. You guys see what I'm saying? Because I don't care. Listen, we're going to get into Mamdani, not as much about his politics, just that he's a progressive. He has a bunch of progressive views. And I told you I'm a conservative. Okay. So we're going to get into Mamdani and his politics. But the whole thing is it's an anti-Trump candidate. Pretty much point blank. He's speaking pocketbook issues. The same way, listen to me now. The same way President Trump won, speaking pocketbook issues. It don't matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So Mamdani comes and he puts a spin on it. He's speaking pocketbook issues, but not only he's speaking pocketbook issues, he's saying, hey, we're going to give you and give you and give you and give you. And the young people hearing how President Trump attacking everything that I'm talking about the liberals, bro. You got them liberals charged up, man. Cuomo, on the other hand, represents the old guard and the traditional Democratic establishment. Yes, he does. That's what I'm saying, because listen, this is what I'm saying. We finna find out. We're not really gonna find out as much in this New York mayoral race. I will say this, and I will give this to all the naysayers, because in New York, you just got a bunch of Democrat blue politics. You feel me? New York, I mean, it's a referendum on the Democratic Party. You got the old guard Democrats, conservative Democrats, you got bluegrass Democrats, middle of all kind of liberals, progressives. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that Cuomo, he was the establishment's pick, and he got routed by the progressive. Both candidate bases were reflected in their endorsements heading into Tuesday. And this is where the whole stream starts focusing on AOC, because Mamdani won the backing of progressive darlings like AOC and independent U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders. If you guys don't know, Bernie Sanders and Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman or Ocasio-Cortez, they have both been shunned by the Democratic Party. Both of them, by that old guard. So you got a 33-year-old progressive. And if you don't know, Senator Sanders is an independent, but he's a progressive. And AOC, she a Democrat, but she a progressive. So they throw their support behind Mamdani. And throwing their support behind Mamdani, in my opinion, they fighting against every Democrat who has tried to hold back the progressives. Because if Mandani wins, that pretty much that whole primary is a Democratic primary. Let me explain it to you. So in the Democratic primary, you had Mandani and Cuomo. Those the big names, okay? Mandani is a progressive. He beat Cuomo. Because he beat Cuomo, Cuomo hasn't dropped out of the race, so he might run as an independent. You say, who is the mayor of New York right now? Eric Allen. Is Eric Allen a Democrat? Yes, he is. Yes, indeed. But Mayor Allen will probably run as an independent as well. So you're going to have Mamdani, Cuomo, and Eric Allen, boy. Bro, tell me. Look, Eric Allen is probably, I would say, the most conservative, in my opinion, of the three. You know what I'm saying? We've seen Eric Allen and lining up with the Trump administration and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? So you would say that Eric Allen would be the best Republican candidate as far as New York is concerned in a national race. You get that? Cuomo would probably be about in the middle, the independent, and Mamdani would be the Democrat. And they finna slug it out, and we finna see what happens. Because we know AOC and we know Bernie Sanders, and they both of them two, the progressives, they threw their support behind Mamdani, and he won. So I'm saying if he win that whole race in the city of New York, a Democratic stronghold, we talking about AOC going from pulling 80,000 people crowds, rallies in Los Angeles in April. I don't know if Governor Newsom can do that in California. That's his own state. She go from doing that to throwing her support against the Democratic establishment. And he walked the dog on Governor Cuomo. So what I'm saying is, if Mamdani win the whole race, I mean, if he take out the sitting mayor of New York City, Eric Allen, who we seen sitting with President Trump and his board of czar. If he take him out, he already took out Cuomo. I don't see why he won't again. I'm saying, how y'all don't see how AOC don't have the influence? AOC name ring bells amongst the Democratic Party. Whether you like her or love her, whether you agree with her policies or not, she drawing crowds that ain't no other Democrat could draw besides an Obama. And if she can step in and endorse a progressive like that and win, what else we looking for? It's her time, man. Am I wrong? Who endorsed, you said, who endorsed Cuomo? Jim Clyburn, a Democratic kingmaker. AOC went against the whole establishment. Listen, Jim Clyburn is trying to protect the Democratic Party because he just does not believe that the Democratic Party is progressive like that. Jim Clyburn is the same for Joe Biden that kind of derailed. You see what I'm saying? So he's been standing against AOC and Senator Sanders. No disrespect. You feel what I'm saying? Known as a Democratic kingmaker. Nancy Pelosi been standing against AOC, and I just don't understand it. Listen, I understand why Congresswoman Pelosi might think that AOC is like too progressive for the party, for the nation and everything like that. But I mean, how long can you hold her back, man? It might be AOC's time, y'all. I mean, the country gonna swing to the left, man. It's just about how far it's gonna swing to the left. It might be her time. How long can you hold that girl back before she run as an independent? You see what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna tell y'all something. Can you imagine a scenario like AOC runs as an independent and she's backed or supported by Elon Musk? Can you imagine that scenario? She got a good chance of winning that entire election. If she don't win, the Democrats definitely won't win. And for you to say that AOC couldn't run as an independent for president, you don't understand politics, because she drawn crowds of 80,000 people. And I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen eventually. So the Democratic Party, they're going to have to figure this out. Which way you going to go? Whichever way you go, if the Democrats decide to stay in the center, you still need a new face. Governor Shapiro or Governor Bashir, you need a young, fresh face. All these old people who is the face of the Democratic Party, that is killing you guys. Guys, Cuomo, who resigned as governor of New York in 2021 after being accused of sexual harassment, conceded the mayoral primary to Mamdani less than 2 hours after polls closed, when it became clear the former governor would not be able to overtake his opponent's lead. The former New York governor has denied any wrongdoing. You feel me? Any wrongdoing, you know what I'm saying? I mean, bro, if you got a candidate who got to stand on something he did in the past, man, in an election, you know, your chances. At his election night party on Tuesday, Cuomo congratulated Mamdani for running a really smart campaign, adding, "Tonight was not our night. Tonight was Assemblyman Mamdani's night." AOC reacted to the concession by applauding the New York State Assemblyman. Congratulations, the Congresswoman, widely seen as the face of the Democratic Party's progressive wing, wrote on X. Question for the Democratic Party: since they say AOC is widely seen, okay, as the face of the progressive wing, I got a question for the Democratic Party. Who you have in the party that is than AOC? I'm talking about for years. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, America might not be progressive, and you might not believe in all the progressiveness, because I'm saying we can have a debate on the issues. I'm willing to debate any progressive on any issue. But as far as a candidate, we talking about AOC and Mamdani. We know that these candidates can charge up the electric. And that might be what you need to win an election, especially if America is about to move to the left. Your dedication to an affordable, welcoming, and safe New York City, where working families have a shot, has inspired people across the city. Billionaires and lobbyists pour millions against you and our public finance system, and you won. And that's Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in her own words. In endorsing Mamdani earlier this year, AOC emphasized that the Democratic Party needs to look forward, telling the New York Times, Assembly member Mamdani has demonstrated a real ability on the ground to put together a coalition of working class New Yorkers that is strongest to lead the pack. In the final stretch of the race, we need to get very real about that. Man, I don't know what to say for the Democratic Party, man, because to me, man, that is really looking like Mamdani, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really looking like He that dude. Sanders formally endorsed Mamdani last week, writing on X, at this dangerous moment in history, status quo politics isn't good enough. We need new leadership that is prepared to stand up to powerful corporate interests and fight for the working class. Mamdani is providing that vision. He is the best choice for NYC mayor. Mamdani and fellow Democratic mayoral candidate Brad Latner also cross-endorsed each other earlier this month, with both men saying that they would rank the other second after themselves. Man, oh man, guys, what we got going on in New York City is heating up to be a blue fest, a blue race, and we want to see this. Guys, if you have not liked the video, please double tap the screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell, guys. Listen, I got some real famous Democrats, and we're going to see what they got to say about what's going on in this New York City mayoral race. David Axelrod. I know a lot of you guys heard of Mr. Axelrod. He's a political consultant for CNN and strategist who was the former chief strategist and senior advisor to President Barack Obama. Very smart man, a wise, respected voice in the Democratic Party. So Mr. Axelrod said, come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway. Don't block up the hall. For he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. The battle outside raging will soon shake your windows and rattle your walls. David Axelrod, David Axelrod, that's a lot to put into one poem. I didn't count the words, man, but it can't be more than 200 words. And basically what he's saying is basically what we're talking about on the stream. It's time for change in the Democratic Party. It's time for change. I'm saying the old guard is too old. And you are hurting your party. I mean, just think about this. We're going to put an 80-year-old candidate as the face of our party. President Biden as the face of our party for what? To protect your ideals of the party? I'm saying, here's my thoughts about this. I'm saying, for the Democrats, in my opinion, if you guys do not want progressives, if you don't agree with their ideals and their morals, then why would you want them a part of your party? Because to me, you hustling backwards. You're not putting the best candidates forward. And that's what David Axelrod is saying. He said, come senators and congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway. Don't block up the hall, for he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. The battle outside raging will soon shake your walls. Time to get to it. Political Magazine. This was wrote on June 26, 2025 by Bob Dylan. He said, the times are changing. My other major takeaways are these. Affordability was the jet fuel that drove Mamdani's surge. It's also an issue that travels. Isn't that the same way President Trump won the election, guys, the general election? Affordability. Everything's too expensive. Not enough money. You see what I'm saying? So Mamdani, he just preaching that message. He 33 years old. He don't need no campaign strategist to tell him how to connect with young people, because he is a young guy, fresh face, fresh voice, young, nice looking man. And he's speaking to the voters' issues. You see what I'm saying? The Democratic Party has to see this. The Republican Party has to see this. We have to see this in politics in general. A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. So, guys, I'm going to stand 10 toes on what I believe regardless. And because of that, I don't have to be a part of any party. Does that make sense to you? Like, some people need an association to make themselves feel safe. So I need to be a part of the Republican Party so I can, or I need to be, I don't need to, I know what I believe. I'm solid in what I believe. You know what I'm saying? Me coming on here and saying positive things about AOC does not change what I believe. I still believe what I believe, and I'm going to still stand 10 on what I believe. But my point is, though, is that these candidates, progressives, I'm saying their whole platform is geared around fighting for the people and their rights. Bruh, all you got to do, I've said this 1,000 times in promoting this stream, okay? All you have to do is just to go online and you could put AOC fighting for the people's rights, and you'll see it for yourself. That she fights passionately for the people's rights. You see what I'm saying? The results reflected a generational and an educational cleavage within the party. He does best with voters under 50 and highly educated voters. That's Mamdani. But despite his emphasis on affordability, he did less well with non-college working class voters, perhaps driven away by cultural concerns. Guys, I'm going to talk about this in just a second. Let me finish going over what Mr. Dillon said. Andrew Cuomo was a symbol of a discredited status quo. Zohran Mamdani was a fresh and uniquely talented counterpart to him. He is a powerful, articulate, authentic exponent of change. Guys, I don't think it's all about being articulate, authentic, but with the candidate does not help, but he's an exponent of change, and America wants change over and over and over again. So if in every election, America is voting for change, almost every election, think about it. Barack Obama, he actually was saying it in the campaign slogan. President Trump, make America great again. If President Trump wasn't saying it, he was railing against President Biden's policies. And he was trying to connect VP Harris to, that's change. Authentic, that's what President Trump was. And President Trump portrayed to be an exponent of change. America wants change. There's so many things that Americans are sick of. You see what I'm saying? Americans are sick of involvement in foreign affairs and foreign wars. And I know this. And if any president gets suckered to get into a quagmire or any kind of conflict in the Middle East for a period of time, I already know, bro, he is political graveyard. Seen it happen too many times. You see what I'm saying? Like, they want off. And then the second component to that, to me, is about addressing the affordability. You know what I'm saying? For especially in a city like New York, this plays very well. And it probably play well in major cities across America. Listen, affordability. This young man, okay, is saying that, hey, I know you're a young person, but the rent too high. Is rent too high for young people? Yeah, they're going to agree with that. Remember now, while we talking about it, he's young and articulate as well. He's saying the rent too high. He's saying groceries are too high. You know what I'm saying? Mayor Eric Allen, he said, this is what he said. I just watched him this morning. He said that rent increased by 9% under Mayor Allen. So he's saying, I ain't gonna let your rent increase. He's saying he wants the city to be exactly what VP Harris said, but going way further. He wants the government to regulate the prices of groceries in the store. You know what I'm saying? Andrew Cuomo is a symbol of the old guard, though, but not Mandani. He's speaking directly to what the people care about. Some of Mandani's positions will quickly become fodder for Eric Adams in November and for the GOP eager to paint Democrats as a far left party. And I'm saying this is what it's all going to come down to. This is what the fight, this is what the battle is all about. It's what it's all about. Far left party, Democrats, far left party. It's not the Democrats. That's what the Democrats fear. It's the progressives. America overall, although America will swing to the left, overall, I would say America, pretty conservative country. So what the Democrats are scared of is you got a guy who's saying that he doesn't believe in certain things that are not popular in America. Democrats scared of that, man. They don't want to be viewed as a far left party. I don't know if the conservatives are scared of being viewed as a far right party, but I know the Democrats are scared of that. But the thing about Mamdani is that he will have to decide if and how to blunt those attacks without compromising his principles and authenticity. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying the thing about AOC, though, she has stood 10 toes on what she's preaching for decades. If AOC runs in a national election, I would have to imagine that she would have to somewhat. I know if I ran her campaign, I'm going to move her to the center. Period. She would have to move to the center in a presidential campaign. I will move baby girl to the center without compromising her views. That's the whole dance. It's to pull in more voters without what they just said right there, without compromising your principles and your authenticity. You see what I'm saying? But here's the thing: they're in New York City. How far to the center or to the right you got to go in a New York election? In a citywide election in blue New York. So we seen Mamdani run against Cuomo, who was a former governor who was involved in scandals. It seems like the voters, they didn't want that. They don't want no corruption or no kind of scandal. So Eric Adams, he was just, pretty much not pardoned, but his charges were kind of like, you know what I'm saying, by President Trump. So, I mean, in my mind, like, if I was Mamdani, I would just, Eric Allen is President Trump. That's my whole speech. I mean, how could that not be his campaign strategy? To me, he ain't got to worry about Cuomo. He just beat him. So why wouldn't he beat him again? And in my opinion, in a three-way race, you know what I'm saying? Listen, this isn't like I didn't come in here to talk blue politics or anything like that. This is about AOC primarily. But this is what I'm saying. I have to do this like I'm a political strategist. I got to throw 2 cents in at least. At least give me 2 cents. You feel me? Listen, so here's my whole situation about this. When you exert Mamdani, we know he's a progressive or he's all the way left. The Democrats scared of that. We finna find out. This New York City now, I wouldn't be too scared of it in New York. If it was a national election, or if it's a state election, if he had to run up in Buffalo, if he had to run like some places in New York, you know how it is. Everywhere you go where it's rural, you know what I'm saying, it's usually red. But this is a city election in New York City. Okay? So you got a blue candidate who's far blue. He's on the ticket as the Democrat. You have Cuomo, who he just beat, who's a former governor, have name recognition. I did a stream about Cuomo. I thought he was a shoo-in. He outspent Mamdani 4-1, 36 million to like 9 million, if I'm not mistaken. And you have Cuomo, who I would say about is in the center. You know what I'm saying? He a Democrat, but he kind of like he ran as a Democrat, but he kind of in the middle. And then you have Eric Allen, who kind of like, I think he's going to run as an independent. I'm not sure. He might run. I don't know what he's running as. But then you have Eric Allen. So those are the three major in the general election. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying Cuomo is pretty popular amongst the black vote in New York City. Really popular. Really, really popular. You know what I'm saying? So is Eric Adams. Eric Adams is, Mamdani, if he does it right, he's going to tie Eric Adams to Donald Trump, to President Trump. But Eric Adams will still get a lot of older voters and a lot of black voters. Cuomo, in my opinion, you think about it, how old is Cuomo and how old is Eric Adams? To me, they're not even in Mamdani's lane. So, in my opinion, if you ask me if this ultra progressive can win that race in New York City, it's going to all come down to this right here. Can he mobilize them young people to go vote? If he can, I think he's going to win easily. Because if I look at the voters, me being a 45-year-old conservative, Mamdani wouldn't be my first pick. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if you were an older person, or it depends on what you care about. But what I'm saying is a young, fresh, articulate face in a blue city that's speaking about pocketbook issues, bro. I don't see how he's not finna win. And if he wins, then AOC's influence will be heard all throughout the Democratic Party nationwide. You can believe that. Some of Mamdani's positions will quickly become fodder for Eric Adams. We know that. What plans in NYC won't necessarily play everywhere. That's what I've been saying. So the idea that he's offered a template to Democratic victories in the future is overblown. It's well overblown. I just said that. Mamdani not playing in Mississippi. He not playing in Alabama. He not playing in South Dakota. But New York City is different. You see what I'm saying? He can be extreme, left, authentic, whatever. He's got a really good shot at winning. But I'm saying, if AOC, baby, if you decide not to run for Senate and kick Chuck Schumer into retirement, and you decide to run for president, AOC, I would say it don't matter if America's swinging to the left. I think you're going to have to come to the center just a bit without compromising your principles. If you're doing a national election with a progressive, you're going to have to come to the center a bit. There is so much to learn from him, speaking about Mamdani, about the appeal of generational change, the value of authenticity, the focus on economic issues, and the use of new media techniques to reach voters who have checked out of politics. Man, that sounds a lot like President Obama. Guys, if you have not double tapped the screen, make sure y'all double tap the screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, guys. So people are hungry for government to work. This was written by Michelle Wu. Same thing, Politico magazine. She is the mayor of Boston, Massachusetts. So Mayor Wu. This is what Mayor Wu says. She says, it's an exciting moment to see that a candidate who ran on big ideas and delivering things that really matter to people can overcome a ton of negative attack ads and outside money flowing in all the usual ways that feels like politics has become more and more driven by big money. We saw operations built from the ground up, connected to people's daily lives and a huge impact. New York City or not, blue city or not, referendum on the Democrats or not, if I was the Republicans, I would definitely be worried about this. Number one, you finna watch the city move to the far left. You know what I'm saying? You might say, hey, New York City kind of left with Eric Adams, but in my mind, they kind of in the middle, Mayor Adams. But I'm saying if Mamdani wins, you finna watch New York go to the far left. For Republicans, how can they not worry about that? When they were just bragging, they seen the whole country, almost every county in America move to the right. Well, look like they might be moving back left. Not just left, far left. We expect New York to have a Democratic mayor, don't we? Some kind of Democrat is a mayor, right? But we talking about a progressive. It ain't the first progressive that would have won in New York, but I'm just point being, people are hungry for government to work again. This is Mayor Wu from Boston, Massachusetts. And to be proof that we can still come together and do big things and improve people's lives. That's what I ran on 4 years ago. That's what my administration has been focused on, and that's what I'm running on in this re-election campaign as well. It's the belief and the faith in our community that we can still get things done and we can come together and make sure people have easier time raising their families, communities, yada, 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 yada. You know what that tell me, man? This the mayor of Boston. You feel me? That's the whole East Coast, they rooting for him. The whole East Coast, y'all rooting for Mamdani. You know what I'm saying? It's also about national politics and Donald Trump and the anxiety that he's created. This was written by Joe Crowley, who's a former congressman for New York's 14th Congressional District and current senior policy director at Denton's. New York is a very unique place. Mandani ran a very excellent campaign and spoke to many of the issues that New Yorkers are concerned about, affordability in particular. That's the playbook. It hadn't changed. You know what I'm saying? If y'all see gas go back down to $2, then maybe it changed. If y'all see groceries go back down, like drop an astronomical price to an astronomical price, then maybe it changed. But I'm saying until we see everything go back down to where it went, which we know it ain't going to go down, but the American people just haven't figured out yet, though, inflation. Until we see it go back down, you could keep preaching affordability. Or unless we see a major rise in the income of all Americans, especially ones that make less than $50,000 a year, you could keep preaching affordability. Winning strategy. I will also suggest that it's also about national politics and Donald Trump and the anxiety that he's created in New York. We saw it in the 2018 and the 2016 elections. We saw some of that anxiety come to fruition for the Democratic Party, and I think you're seeing it again now. We have to be cautious to look at New York and apply it elsewhere, though. That's what you have to do. I do think that Mamdani still has questions that need to be answered in terms of his representation of all New Yorkers and how he's going to have to address that, as well as how he's going to have to pay for some of the things he campaigned on. So I do think that this general election is not over yet, although it seems it's likely he'll win. And that's also out there too. That's according to Joe Crowley. The reason why I think that they're saying that he's going to win is we're saying that just because, man, just looking at the map, That's what us political analysts do. We're going to look at a map. I know the kind of voter that Andrew Cuomo is getting. And the Mamdani voters is not Cuomo, it's not, and Eric Allen ain't getting those voters. You see what I'm saying? Cuomo might reach into a demographic that Mayor Allen ain't reaching into, but they both primarily are older voters and African-American voters. And Mamdani he beat Andrew Cuomo by a bunch of points, like, you know what I'm saying? So we finna find out. So this is what Bernie Sanders wrote. He wrote, "You do not win elections, in my view, by begging billionaires for huge amounts of money." Mamdani won a strong grassroots campaign around the progressive agenda. They go together. You cannot run a grassroots campaign unless you excite people. You cannot excite people unless you have something to say. And you had a lot to say. He said that he wants to make New York City livable, affordable for ordinary people, that the wealthiest people in New York City are going to start to have to pay their fair share in taxes. We've heard this so many times. So that you can stabilize the outrageously high cost of housing in New York, which, by the way, is a crisis all over this country. So basically what he's saying, you could take Mamdani's playbook in New York, you could move it a little bit to the center, you could throw a little red paint on it, you could put a Republican turn on it, however you want to say it. You see what I'm saying? And you might could pitch that naturally. We want to make America, let's see, y'all, we finna see if his message will work on the national stage. We want to make America livable and affordable for ordinary people. Does that work? Yep, that works. That the wealthiest people in America are going to have to start paying their fair share of taxes so we can stabilize the outrageously high cost of housing in America. Does that work on the national stage? Yep, that works. Which, by the way, is a crisis all over this country. Yep, that works. You can deal with transportation in a sensible way, deal with child care, deal with health care, deal with the needs of the ordinary working class people. So you come up with an agenda that makes sense to people. They get motivated in the campaign. They are ready to knock on doors. That's how you win elections. I agree with this 10,000%. Senator Sanders, I agree with this 30,000%. And I know you won a lot of elections in your lifetime, so yeah. You do not win elections, in my view, by begging billionaires for huge amounts of money. That's what Cuomo did. Put stupid ads on television that nobody pays attention to. We need an agenda that speaks to working class people, activates millions of people around this country to get involved on that agenda. Take on the billionaire class, take on oligarchy. That's how you win elections. Guys, if you have not, will you guys please double tap the screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell, guys. We've been streaming for almost 1 hour, guys. You know what I'm saying? I think I made the case pretty strongly. You know what I'm saying? Like about AOC and it being her time in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party or the progressive wing of the Democratic Party are just going to have to make up their mind, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you holding back your best candidates. Listen, let me finish this. Well, let me go ahead. Listen, this stream right here isn't about Mamdani supporting believing that a 4-year-old will be able to have a sex change. That's not what this is about. This stream isn't even about anything that the old guard of the Democratic Party or the centrist Democrats and the new guard or the progressive Democrats. This has nothing to do with politics. This is what this is about. This is about me playing a football game, and I have 2 running backs. I need 3 yards on this play. I have 1 running back where I really do not, he too old to be playing. Hey, I got a running back, he too old to be playing, but the crowd love him. He too old though, but he's still on the team. I got this young running back. I'm not sure if the crowd gonna love him, but I know he better than the old cat. That's what the Democrats are facing. That's the whole problem that's in front of the Democrats' face right now. That's what you're looking at right now in your nose, in your eyes, in your face, in your mouth. You got a choice to make. You see what I'm saying? You either have a choice of a candidate, you know what I'm saying? A candidate who is too old for politics. He rusty. You know what I'm saying? Or you have a candidate who's more younger, who's more viable, and who's probably going to win the election. Who might win the election, who might not win. But what I'm saying is the Democrats got to make up their mind. You know what I'm saying? You got to make up your mind. You have a candidate right now who can draw 80,000 people in a crowd. 80,000. Ain't nobody else besides her and Senator Sanders can do that. She can draw 80,000 people. She endorsed progressive candidates, and they beating out the old Democratic candidates with the electorate. So what I'm saying, what's going to pretty much happen to progressives, they're going to make their own wing of the party. And I'm saying, you see the kind of crowds that, listen, if the progressive makes their own wing of the party, I'm saying what, the Democrats going to be the centrist party? And you're going to have a far left party. And what the Republicans going to do? They're going to become far right, or they going to splinter too? Or all the old school Republicans go to the Democratic Party, and all the far right people will be MAGA. So you have MAGA, you have a mixture of a Democratic Republican Party that's kind of like centrist, and you have progressives. I'm saying, is that what it's going to come to? Because I'm saying it's just a matter of time, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, say if we had a football team, same analogy, and I was an owner, and I'm looking for which running back or who I'm going to pick in the draft. And I have, how old is AOC? I think she's old enough to run for president now. So what, she at least 35? You know what I'm saying? A good-looking, young progressive candidate. Say, take the politics away. She don't have to be progressive. You just have a good-looking young candidate who is winning. She can make endorsements to make candidates win, and she'll draw a crowd bigger than anyone else. I'm saying, as a if you looking at that picture, it's just only a certain amount of time before you say, hey, when we gonna put her in the game? President Trump isn't running for election in 2027, so the Republicans won't be spoiled with another billionaire who can pick and choose the campaign donations he's taking, if any. And guys, y'all don't understand that's huge about President Trump, because President Trump can easily say, hey, I'm spending, when he first ran, I'm not taking no salary, and I'm spending my own money to run this election. So I'm saying, no one can really attack Bernie. One of Bernie Sanders' signature attacks is who you get your campaign money from. Because Bernie Sanders know whoever you get your campaign money from, Bernie Sanders know that's pretty much telling him who's going to be running your presidency, who's going to be running the White House. So President Trump, he said, hey, I got my own money. I'm spending my own money on the campaign. So the Republicans have been spoiled by that. You're taking away like a good portion of a progressive argument against you. Not this time though, because President Trump, he linked in with a bunch of billionaires. But what I'm saying is he already ran 4 years and the people already knew him, so it don't really matter how he was attacked on this. What I'm saying, the next Republican who step up to run, whether he running MAGA, whatever, what I'm saying in 2027, he's going to have to take billionaire money because he's not President Trump. Unless what, Ramaswamy or some person like that who got their own money win. But they're not going to be able to do what President Trump did is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So guys, like, I think that's huge. I think the biggest key is that what we've been warning is that the Trump administration about is if you move too far to the right, you could take it right, wrong, or indifferent. President Trump, you move too far to the right. That's how President Obama became president. If you move too far to the left, think of when President Obama first term, the Tea Party movement. Y'all remember that? The Tea Party didn't make it, but the Tea Party gave birth to MAGA. And you got President Trump. President Trump, if you move too far to the right, you're going to mobilize millions of young people in America. I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes these politicians, they get so used to talking to an electorate, not the new voters, because you'll get millions of new voters who will vote one election and never vote again. You know what I'm saying? Not those kind of voters, even though President Trump depended on those kind of voters. You know what I'm saying? Last election. But I'm saying not those kind of voters. I'm saying you'll get millions and millions of young progressives. I'm telling you, if you start a war in Iran, that's why I was thinking if a war starts in Iran, you can almost guarantee 2026 the Republican is going to get creamed. I'm talking about, I think the Democrats would take everything back but the White. I think they'll take the Senate. Real talk. And if that war was continuous, then you can guarantee it don't have to be a war. If President Trump moves too far to the right, he gonna open up the door for 80,000 rallies that AOC having. AOC becoming a kingmaker over the old kingmaker and put Mandani in position. The fringes on the left or the right might make the most noise and cause the biggest splashes. But never forget that national elections are won and lost by independents who are generally in the middle. Guys, that's my time, man. I appreciate you stopping by the stream, all you guys, and checking out the content. If you guys don't know, we go live every Tuesday, News Hour with Ghostwriter at 7 a.m. Central. I just felt like, just listening to AOC and her fight for the rights of the people, man, just listening to that, man, that just made me like, you know what I'm saying? Just think, like, man, this girl was just pulling these crowds all over America, not just in LA with Senator Sanders. And then I was just thinking that, man, like, she endorsing a 33-year-old progressive who beat out Governor Cuomo, because I just knew Governor Cuomo was going to be the next mayor. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, man, AOC, her name been ringing bells in the party for a long time. And I know how elections go. You go right, you go too far right, it's coming back left. So it might be her chance to turn on the swing. Like I said, I'm going to stand 10 on what I believe. Period. It's great to have a healthy debate over the issues. But what the Democrats are facing is you have a sitting mayor I wouldn't say the Democrats, I say what New York City is facing is you got a sitting mayor. A sitting mayor. Okay? Who has just been indicted with felonies, what, like a year or two ago, with charges? That President Trump said that the DOJ wasn't going to pursue charges. Scandal. And then you have a former governor. Scandal. And then you have a young upstart progressive who's speaking pocketbook issues, 33 years old, in New York City. I have to argue this, man. Like, AOC, Bernie Sanders, y'all have to win this election. Mamdani has to win this election. To me, this is more about the progressives and the coming out party than anything else. Because Senator Sanders, Congresswoman Cortez, like, regardless of what all the work you guys have done fighting for the people's rights, standing up for the little guys, if the Democrats think you cannot win an election, you progressives are going to end up having to start your own party, regardless of how good the candidates are. We've seen progressives, I guess, in some positions, but I'm saying, like, I mean, a progressive on a national stage, like how they govern, I've never seen. How would it work? How would America look with a progressive as president? Because, you know, a candidate, they can't enact a lot of things that they believe or they run on. They can only do what they're allowed to do in the government. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm saying, like, how would America look as a progressive? We don't know. Was President Obama a progressive? I mean, a lot of people thought America looked, but I thought he did a lot of good stuff, though, for the people. There's a lot of moral issues or moral things he did I didn't agree with, but most of that happened with the Supreme Court. What's up, Angelo? Good morning. Good morning. How you doing, my brother? You know what I'm saying? Look, most of that happened with the Supreme Court, though. Not much, Angelo. What's going on with you? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna jump in the stream. I guess, like, a lot of these people ain't trying to, you know what I'm saying, about AOC, man, but I just think it's real important. You know what I'm saying? Angelo, you know what's going on up there. You from Jersey. You know what I'm saying? You know about Mamdani, and I really think he's gonna win. You know what I'm saying? He says, salute to all the Trump supporters 100. What you think about the mayoral race in New York City right now, Mr. Angelo? You know, Mr. Angelo, what you think about the mayoral race? You know what I'm saying? That's what we just discussed. I know. So that's what you think about Mamdani? You know? What you think about it? How does it feel about on the ground? How I feel on the ground up there in Jersey, man? Is it a movement? You know what I'm saying? Is he the new king of NY? You know, he finna beat Eric Allen, and he already beat Cuomo. He gonna beat him again. Angelo, let me know what you think, man. You know what I'm saying? We finna close down the stream and everything like that. I really appreciate you guys stopping by, you know, everybody who stopped by the stream. For those who watch it, you know what I'm saying, after it become. Oh, you saying like California? I'm saying I don't. Oh, so it's not already like California. Angelo, for the people, for those of us who don't live in New York, man, that's a liberal. I mean, what you gonna expect in New York? That's a I mean, I thought it was already like California. You said not yet. I'm saying California get a Republican governor. Governor Schwarzenegger, wasn't he the governor before Governor? The Republicans get a lot of Republican governors. California, they just hadn't had one in a while. But yeah, like New York too, though. They'll get a Republican mayor. Giuliani not too long ago. I think it's about a candidate who just runs a great election. That's what I think it is. And Mamdani, he just running a better election than them, Angelo, right now. That's what it looked like. And if I was a Republican, if I was a supporter of President Trump, I would be petrified of that. I know we're not arguing about socialism. We arguing about corruption versus non-corruption, scandals versus non-scandals. If I was a progressive, especially him, that's what I'm gonna argue. This is typical of politics. You got dirt on Cuomo, he got dirt on Mayor Allen. He the clean one. So in my mind, whether you agree with my politics or not, we know those people are dirty. And which progressive you got some corruption on. I'm not saying you don't have none on some, but I'm just saying what I see from AOC, bro, you ain't gonna get no corruption on AOC. I know you ain't. I ain't never heard of such. Angelo, throw something in the stream where we heard something that was corrupt that AOC done. I know for a fact you ain't gonna get nothing about nothing corrupt AOC done. I could almost say the same thing about Senator Sanders, and look how long he been in the Senate. But you're going to be hard-pressed to find corruption on them like that. That's what I'm trying to say. They clean politicians. You might not agree with their politics. This ain't about their politics, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? They saying they standing up for the people, they fighting for the people, and they not corrupt. And that's everything. They're not involved in those scandals. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying in my mind, I mean, this is what I'm saying, Angelo. I'm saying like, you got two men that are trying to get a job for you. One of them goes to church, but he a thief. You feel me, Angelo? One of them go to church, but he steal money out the register. He'll hit that register. And the other one, he like a rainbow-headed, like, different person. I'm saying, who you gonna hire? You got politicians who stand up and they'll tell us anything. And they corrupt as a $2 bill. As a counterfeit $2 bill. Or a counterfeit $3 bill. You feel what I'm saying? They'll stand up and tell us anything. All kind of scandals and everything. Just a bunch of drama. And you got this politician over here who you don't agree with their politics, but you know they fighting for the people. You know that. You know they standing up for law and justice. You know that. You know what I'm saying? Some of this other stuff, that I'm saying I want the clean person, even if I don't agree with him. If I know that rainbow colored person, hair person is not going to be robbing my store, then that's who I want. I know he ain't going to be robbing me. You feel me? But the other person I might agree with, he going to be robbing you blind. Who you going to vote for? And I think that's a dilemma we having right now. Guys, that's my time. Like I said, I appreciate the guys, those of you who showed up on this Friday News Hour Ghostwriter, man, talking about AOC special edition. You know what I'm saying? If you guys are watching this after it was recorded, I ask that you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. You know what I'm saying? That being said too, man, like anytime I get in a situation where I just got people for some reason coming at me, like for whatever reason they coming at me for, whenever I get in those kind of situations, I always look to God, man. Always. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to somebody the other day, man. I really believe in this. Like, in my opinion, it doesn't matter what religion you are. It don't matter your nationality. It don't matter your race. None of that matters. None of it. In my opinion, what matters, man, the bottom line that matters is whether or not you love people and whether or not you accepted Jesus Christ as your Savior. That goes for a Christian, a Muslim, or a Jew. You have a lot of people say they believe in Jesus, but they ain't Christian. You have a lot of Muslims say they believe in Muhammad or Allah, but they not practicing Muslim. They're not practicing Islam, excuse me. They're not a practicing Muslim. That's what I'm saying. So it don't, to me, it don't matter what, as long as you believe in Jesus Christ, man. You know what I'm saying? Jesus loved everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I get in a situation, something I cannot handle, you know what I'm saying? I always look to God. I get on my knees and I say, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. That's my time, y'all, man. Peace and love. I love every last one of y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. I'll see you guys on Tuesday at 7 a.m. Central on YouTube, man. Peace and love, y'all. I'm out.